Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the International 4 European Qualifiers presented by Monster. We're, of course, here at the live from the NA Hub, the Beyond the Summit Studio House. I'm LD. And who's this guy? I'm joined by Merlini, of course. How you doing?
Are you excited for this lower bracket round 1 match?
Yeah, I think so. Coast, I think the biggest surprise, well, maybe not the biggest surprise, a lot of people were choosing them as their dark horse. For anyone who doesn't know, it's Coast versus Virtus Pro. Best of 3 coming up now, but yeah, Coast, yeah, some people were on the Monomaniacs hype train after Fragbite Masters, but I don't really think many people gave them a legitimate shot to threaten to go to Seattle, and here they are against Virtus Pro, a team that I also frankly counted out, and I'm still not sure how I feel about them, but they have made it into the playoffs. They do have a lot of talented and experienced players, and if they can put it together, they could maybe run the table.
They're really inconsistent, though, and I haven't actually seen too much of Team Coast, too. Seems like they got stomped by Mals. They had some decent wins in the qualifiers, and unlike VP, they managed to secure a third place like before the very, very last match.
Yeah, the last when they played VP last, they actually, it was a 40-minute game, but it looked like it was just completely one-sided. Just looking at the final scoreboard and from what little snippets of the game I got to cast, or to watch. So with that being said, guys, it's time now for game 1 of this best of 3. Let's get into it. Coast versus Virtus Pro is now underway. The loser goes home or stays home, however you want to look at it. Will not have a chance to go to Seattle. The winner will play Rock's Kiss tomorrow in the loser bracket finals, and of course Mouse already having punched their ticket to Seattle today, at least as the wildcard playing team, and with the, I guess at this point you can safely call them the favorites to make it to Seattle as the final qualified team for the International. And well, Ben, the draft's underway. It's a first overall pick, Treant Protector. Man, teams are loving the tree lately in every region.
They really are. And VP,
how do you feel about the tree?
He's good in the right hands, but he's just really annoying to play against. I feel like you can draft against him. Like Darkseer works pretty well.
Dragon Knight, Twin-Headed Dragon.
Slark is decent too. There's a lot of like decent heroes versus him, but he's just too flexible. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like he's like super overpowered. I don't necessarily think he needs a nerf.
He has been very hard for teams to deal with, but I agree with you that I think he's if teams draft appropriately, he's not overpowered by any means, and in fact can be underwhelming if you pick the right lineup. If you run like a heavy 5-man push strat, you have a Dragon Knight as the engine of it, you pick a Pugna, Shadow Shaman, like what does Living Armor actually do for you? Very little. So well, we'll see how the game develops, and Virtus Pro securing both supports in the first phase. They go Disruptor Tree, so they make up for Tree's rather weak zoning abilities early on. He can harass with boots a bit, but they get a range support here, and well, that does mean some cores will get banned. They ban out the Morphling, and actually Coast banned Wisp in the second stage. What's up with that? Are they expecting a solo mid Wisp?
Who knows?
That's very unusual.
I have no idea what the Wisp ban is for. Maybe they just don't want to take the risk. It could be like a solo mid disruptor, Bulba style, but I doubt it.
When's the last time anybody actually played core disruptor? I think it's been like
really
6-9 months at least.
Or core tree. You just don't
I
see
hope
it.
it's not a core tree. That does not sound very good. Get that Mask of Madness.
I'm glad we aren't seeing support
Basher
Panda.
tree.
Support Panda from VP just like absolutely failed last time I saw them run it, and it was just a disaster. So I really hope they don't do that again. They picked it up in the first phase and gave it to AA, I believe, maybe NS. I don't know, one of those two.
So as for Coast, they pick up the Centaur Invoker very early. Very reminiscent of how DK was drafting in Starlighter Season 9, and I still think it's a powerful strategy. We've seen it work pretty well when it's picked as a combo. This is a Radiant Centaur, very difficult to keep out of the lane. And, well, if they have a good start, their pickoff potential is enormous. Disruptor, not a bad hero against Centaur. You can just glimpse him back when he blinks in, but that's assuming that you're quick on the trigger finger. And Virtus Pro will go for Brew, though. It looks much more like a core Brew at this point.
I'm actually surprised VP didn't take Doom for themselves. It's pretty good versus Invoker, and it's right up their alley in terms of heroes that they like to pick. It's well within their comfort zone, and Team Coast will take it most likely to just Doom the Brew early on in the fights. Brew matches up decently versus Invoker, but he is susceptible to Silence / Doom.
They actually have a lot of ways to deal with this Brewmaster pick. The Centaur has pretty good burst and decent lockdown. Doom, obviously fantastic against him, and Invoker, probably going to be Quas Exhort, since they've got the Centaur pick. That's generally how we see teams pair them up, but if you want to go Quas X, EMP makes life hard for Brew, and Cold Snap can prevent you from splitting, so I think Coast have quite a few tools to deal with this Brewmaster.
Yeah, they just need to make sure he doesn't get an early blink. I'm not terribly sure whether or not they're going to be able to kill him early with Enchantress. It really depends on the second support. SD's out of the pool. Other good roamers with Enchantress. Not too many great ones out there. I think SD is probably the best partner.
Well, he just got banned, so
Yeah.
there's also Bane, who's not too shabby.
Yeah, Bane's all right.
What else do we see teams run? Rubik, pretty light on
Rubik's-
damage.
Rubik's okay. I think Rubik would be better than a lot of the other ones. Could do like a CM Revenge or Sand King. Even.
Rubik also a better choice versus a Brewmaster, because the ult is one of the easier big team fight ults in the game to steal.
Shadow Shaman it is.
All right, well, they've got a pretty versatile lineup here. Can go extremely heavy push with the Aura Doom, the Quasigzor Invoker, the Book, and the wards, of course, or they could go for more of a mid to late game oriented strat, play more of a carry Doom, Invoker, can get the Book, but then transition into some bigger late game items. So Coast, pretty flexible, pretty balanced draft, and if Virtus Pro aren't punishing them in the laning stage, I think it's very well rounded. And the Hexagon seems to agree.
I think there's too much on the Brewmaster in Virtus Pro's draft. Like, if they just shut him down, they can just, like, throw a Hex, a Doom, like, a Stampede, Stun, and Double Edge, like, everything at him. And if he falls, everything falls for VP. Like, they really have no team fight if Brewmaster dies early. Whereas Coast, they have a lot of ways to save people if someone gets initiated on. They can easily just drop wards. Doom's, like, relatively tanky, isn't going to drop easily. And Centaur can always counter-initiate with Stampede. So, as of right now, I think Team Coast's lineup is much better than VP's in terms of ease of execution. Unless Brewmaster plays like an absolute boss, and G has been known to play some pretty nasty solo mids.
Yeah, he's going to be up against an Invoker and strong roamers, so he might not get the free reign that he's looking for. It's not going to be that 1v1 melee matchup where Brewmaster can often dominate. He still will do well against Invoker with the evasion and the guaranteed last hits from the crit, but I don't think it'll be the easiest game for a Brew. And, well, we'll see how it goes. Razor's the final pick for VP. And they're throwing a lot on this laning stage. If Brew doesn't get a fast blink, if Razor doesn't have a good start, their mid to late game is very underwhelming.
Razor?
If they have a good start, though, they could snowball.
Why Razor?
Can dominate Centaur 1v1, I guess?
There's a lot of heroes that can dominate Centaur 1-on-1. Or not a lot, but like something like Viper is a little bit more tanky. Razor, generally view him as like a...
Viper actually destroys Centaur. If he takes a point in return, you just start leveling up your passive, you just right-click him, and then he just dies to the... What is it called again? Corrosive skin, yeah. It's brutal.
It's just there's not that great static link targets and fights. You don't really want to use it on Centaur. He has very high mobility with the Stampede. Doombringer, I mean, he can just counter with a Doom to Razor's face, and I mean, there's a lot of single target disables. I guess that's pretty nice. Like Shadow Shaman has all single target spells besides for his wards, so maybe they're relying a lot on unstable current. But that's a long shot for picking Razor as opposed to other carries.
Well, we're all pretty low on the Razor picks in general at the house. Perhaps we're just biased. Let's see how it works out. It's going to be game 1 now of Coast versus VP for the International 4 Europe qualifier. Lower bracket round 1 match. Winner, again, will play Rocks tomorrow, and the winner of that at least goes to Seattle as a wildcard contender, and we'll have a chance to go as the qualified team if they can beat Mouse, who are now waiting in the grand finals. And with that being said, we'll introduce the teams as wards are being dropped down all over the place. On the Radiant side, you've got Team Coast, formerly Monomaniac. Solon on the off-lane Centaur going mid will be E-Skills, who has been very impressive whenever I've seen him on the Invoker. Frigo Elite, Shadow Shaman will be the support he's handed this game. Actually started with a lot of tangos there, it looked like. Steph Style on the Enchantress, and that does leave 8 Mother as the Doombringer. And, well, we've also got Virtus Pro on the Dire side. Jotum, your Treant Protector, a team of big names that has yet to really fully unlock their potential with this particular squad. Arsart, legendary former player for Na'Vi, going as the offlane Prophet, no longer playing that support role. G, key player for this team, not only as the Brewmaster, but just in general. He'll be playing the Panda. That does put NS on the Disruptor, and up in the safe lane will be our Razor. That's Illidan, and looks like off the bat, going for the level 1 First Blood.
Such an early gank. And NS, what has he skilled?
Oh, they got Glimpse already. If they get off the... Do they have a clap? Or is he gone for crit? There's their clap. Sad times for E-Skills. That will be a very easy First Blood.
Yeah, nice gank from them. Very nice block from the Brewmaster to really set that whole thing in motion. And looks like there's going to be a duel lane top, and Illidan is not having an easy time. He's going to go boots first, expecting a one-on-one situation, but Centaur also has boots.
Yeah, it's an interesting adjustment here from Coast. I guess worried about maybe a potential aggressive tri lane from VP, though they're not really getting one. And well, on the Radiant side, you can get quite a bit of levels for the Shadow Shaman, so that's not too bad. Doom can hold his own 1v1 against Prophet. We've seen that before. In fact, once you hit 6, you can often just go and kill him. And Shadow Shaman not the best roaming partner for Enchantress, so they'll prioritize just securing the Centaur's farm and getting up some levels on their supports over those early ganks.
G already with boots and bottle mid. That's a scary, scary Brewmaster. And we talked about how important it was to give him space if you're VP, and this is a fantastic start from him. Early blink, he can definitely control the game. So I think Coast with the Enchantress, they need to try and start moving around with her and not just farm up. If they want to just farm up, they can easily have replaced it with the Chen.
Well, bottom lane, the Doom does take a bit of harassment, but yeah, we'll see the smoke egg now from Coast. And let's see where they go first. They head towards the bottom side of the map. Frigo Elite doesn't have boots yet on the Shadow Shaman, I believe, so he is fairly slow here. He also started with 8 tangos, which is pretty unusual. I guess expecting to have to pull that Centaur a lot. But it will delay his boots timing a bit, and they're going to head for bottom lane. Nature's Prophet.
This Treant's about to die.
Could well be caught out. This Treant? Huh?
This it's Troll. Sorry.
Oh, okay. The Dark Troll Warlord. Gotcha. Now looking for Arsat. The trap will come just in the nick of time, right as 8 Mother joins the fray. There's an Enchantress slow as well, but Frigo Elite can't actually get in range. He's just too damn slow. The Ether Shot comes out. They still get the kill. The Shadow Shaman just throwing out the nuke there, and it wasn't.
He didn't actually wrap around with the Enchantress. They like split around. Enchantress went this way, Shadow Shaman went this way, so it was a little questionable.
Very awkward execution. Meanwhile, mid lane, tri-lane mid again for E-Skills. Not what he wanted. As he gets clapped, he gets trapped under the dire creeps, and will go down in the end. Pure right-click damage to bring him down. Suddenly, quad lane mid. They are punishing this Exor Invoker, and frankly, I feel like not enough teams do this. The level 1 Exor Invoker is very squishy, quite gankable, and we often see teams will just wait until later on to bring the fight to him, but by that point he's got Midas, he's got the double forge, and he's no longer such an easy kill. So I really like this play by VP.
Nice usage of the Satyr creep to delay this push. I don't think they'll get the tower. They still have the glyph up, so I think they'll be okay. And at this point, Invoker should probably just pick up a point in Wax just for Tornado or Deafening Blast or
at least make these ganks expensive, even if you're going to die.
Yeah.
And generally you don't expect Invokers who go Exort to have Wex anyway this early.
Yeah, I think he needs it at this point, and 2 supports of VPR roaming around very, very well. And yeah, we usually don't see Invokers get shut down this early, and his positioning has been like not the best, I say, but he doesn't have boots, and he has 280 move speed without Wex, without phase. He's just dead.
Yeah,
just food.
The build that he went for, which is quite standard, is just it makes sure that if you don't get ganked, you can get the early last hits. You start snowballing the 1v1 matchup. You get once you get the boots, you can get your quick Midas online. Sometimes you even skip it if you're doing well, but it does make him very vulnerable. And in this version, it tends not to be popular to gank mid, but that's already twice VP have just showed up in numbers and taken him down.
Yeah, some pulling going on by both teams, and gold lead not very much in favor of VP, but still in favor of VP. And as long as Team Coast doesn't give up too many towers early, I think they can recover very, very easily once they hit level 6 on Shadow Shaman as well as a Centaur. They can take down towers pretty well. VP doesn't have great anti-push except for, I guess, Panda, but he's more about team fight rather than anti-push.
Speaking of that Panda, he was over 1k gold last we checked, and he's well on his way to a Blink Dagger. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Doom is about to hit level 6, but there's a nice Dire Ward here giving the Prophet some vision, so not the easiest kill without a smoke. But it's where, if you have enough for Doom, and you've got, say, like your phase boots online, you could just solo kill the Prophet, and they are wrapping around with the Shadow Shaman. He's wormed his way through the trees. It is nighttime. Don't believe Arsart has spotted him out just yet, but, well, they haven't found the opening. And meanwhile, looks like no real efforts to gank this offlane Centaur for VP.
Frigo Elite waiting patiently.
Oh, now they go in. They start with the Troll Trap. That's a very long-range one. Sunstrike to follow up, and they will connect. It's not a very high-level Exort, though, and it's not enough to get the kill. The Tornado's trying to chase him down. I don't think it'll do enough damage as he continues to outrun it. Now the clap on a Frigo Elite, the crit! One more right-click, and down he goes.
Nicely played by VP there, and the Living Armor came out just in time. He waited long enough for them to bait into the tower, but didn't wait too long so that the Nature's Prophet died.
What level is that Invoker? Because that Sunstrike just felt very underwhelming. Yeah, he's level 5, but he's taken the 2 points in Quas, and well, not hitting that hard, I guess.
Yeah, it was really close to connecting, and 8 Mother, unfortunately, they weren't able to lead off with the Shackle. If he leads off with the Shackle, then you get a Doom immediately, and they'll burn most of the Living Armor charges, but since he had to use 150 mana on the net instead, they weren't able to secure the kill. So
Meanwhile, G does have his ultimate here. Does he go for Steph stuff? No, it doesn't look like it. Just
I
starts clubbing
I don't think
creeps.
it's worth it for a solo inch.
Yeah, especially not near a tower. You're not
He has
gonna...
blink, 6-minute blink dagger on Brew.
And he's been moving too. Came down bottom and now back to mid. 33 CS. The Razor's farming well, and overall, you got to say this is a very powerful start for VP in the lane stage. On the look for more now, they drop the kinetic field to hold solid in position, and Razor goes to work with his ultimate. Jotham's also on the chase here. Centaur, no ult online. He will fall to that plasma field, and now VP going for the tower.
Teamwork is so much better than I remember.
Who is this VP?
I have no
and
idea.
what have they done with the team we saw like 3 weeks ago, where Illidan got Aegis, just straight suicided into 5 heroes with no teammates in sight and died again? They actually look like they're playing up to the names on this team.
Yeah, Frigo Elite is really far behind though. 0-1-1 on Shadow Shaman. Level 4, he has brown boots, but still sitting at a very weak 335 move speed, and he needs his level 6 ASAP so they can actually trade towers. They got the tower on top, Team Coast, and this tower on bottom's at 2/3 HP. They have tree armor easily if they... Oh, blink in, and...
Got the creeps. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Team Coast, they're really scared. What do they do right now? Do they want to push into a Blink Brewmaster? Do they really want to let VP get away with the somewhat greedy draft? And looks like Centaur very close to dying.
Frigo Elite's going to be the one who falls instead. It feels the Razor. One more right click will secure the kill. Still no Centaur ultimate. He's actually only level 5. And meanwhile, bottom lane, 8 Mother getting aggressive here. Or no, just kidding. It's who is. He'll glimpse him back in, catches him just on the cusp of the kinetic field. Then Panda blinks in. He goes with the clap. He does not have mana for a split, though. And in the end, he will just back off.
Doom's still really tanky, though. He's also going for an early Vlad build, so they're not playing greedily at all. Invoker also with the early Basilius. No gloves of haste up on him, so... Team Coast, if this game goes very late, they might have invested too much in early game items, but at the same time, they do need it because VP is just being pressured to all 3 lanes simultaneously.
Yeah, the fight's coming. With Pan having Blink, Prophet about to hit level 6, it's going to be a lot more pressure very soon. So, Frigo Elite's to level 4, nowhere near the wards that you mentioned, and well, we still haven't yet to see a Panda ult despite this early Blink. G's still been a factor and a presence all around the map, but I'd like to see them try and go for something as soon as they get Prophet ult. Just smoke up, use the Panda ult, and try and take a kill, ideally mid, and then take a tower on the back of that.
Arcane's up on Brew too, and Doom, yeah, the Vlad's is, I think, a little underwhelming, especially since they already have a Bassi out on Invoker. I think it's a little overkill.
And they don't really have anyone who benefits from the lifesteal. Not to say that's the only reason you get a Vlad's, but it is a factor.
Yeah, the armor's not terribly important. Razor main source of damage early on in the game, and it's not like they can do Roshan very easily at all. Or if they do, the Vlad's isn't going to be a factor because it's really dependent on the roster ward. So
they're a good pushing lineup, but that's where something like a mech would help you a lot more.
Or drums.
Yeah, drums would be pretty good as well.
Either or.
The nice thing about the drums is going for phase drums. It really lets you transition into that.
You might be
that
going
carry
into mech
build more.
actually.
Okay.
With just casual Bassi, but they...
That's true. Sunstrike will come in. They've got to stomp off an Illidan. Unfortunately, there's already a level 6 on Jotum, and Illidan will stay alive. Then G arrives, and they've overextended in a big way. 3 heroes fall. Panda Split was used, not even needed at all, and they still get 3 kills.
Well, with this gank, this pretty much means that Team Coast cannot fight anymore. Like, they have to just dodge fights, they have to split push, they have to go for easy kills with Doom and Stampede and blow 2 or 3 ultimates for single kills at this point. They're really far behind, 1-8 the score, and before that I was like, yeah, okay, Team Coast, they can kill Illidan. He's still relatively weak. Now he's going to have his mech, and the tree armor has proven to be really annoying for Team Coast. They've underestimated the potential of it, they've overestimated the damage output, and traded 2 for 0 when most of the time it should have been a simple 0 for 1.
I think this just goes back to all the pressure they put on mid early. They secured the Brewmaster Blink, he's been a huge factor, and they shut down the Invoker. Sunstrike will come through mid lane along with a Stampede, going straight onto the Razor, and Illidan walks into the tower. He will be doomed and probably brought down. They drop the Static Storm, the Kinetic Field as well, and hold the Centaur back, but they don't manage to keep the Razor alive. Immediate buyback from the tree. The tower will fall. That goes the way of the Dire, not denied, and no, looks like no glimpse here. So that's where the aggression will end.
VP being a little bit overzealous without the Brewmaster ultimate.
Which they didn't actually need a top either.
They also didn't buy the they didn't bring out the mech on Razor, so they just had to wait like 30 seconds to 45 seconds until they wanted to take that mid tower. They did end up getting it at the end of the day, but still, you don't want to give up 2-1 kills when you're this far ahead in the early game.
Yeah, they really need Panda ult or Overgrowth at the very least to keep the Razor safe when he gets doomed. They don't have the best defensive support. Disruptor's not bad, but against Centaur ult, it's kind of hard to land a Static Storm Kinetic Field on multiple heroes when they're all running around at haste move speed.
So, other items coming in now. Brewmaster working on his Scepter. See the mech just picked up by the Razor, and without Doom up, without Stampede up, looks like an easy tower for them. Shadow Shaman still working towards level 6, so he's only level 4. And it will actually be an early Vlads from Doom.
Poor guy. He started off in the dual lane top, and it didn't go badly by any means, but they didn't actually kill Razor. They didn't secure a fast blink on the Centaur, and you go into the mid game, and you've got a dead weight, basically. Shadow Shaman, just not a very useful hero without his ult. Or even a leveled up Ether Shock. And meanwhile, G, he's smoked. He's got his ult online, double damager up as well. Now he spotted up the Doom here. He'll go in immediately, just drop the ult right away after the clap. No hesitation, and that will be the death of Ape Mother, for sure. Although he'll try and fight it out a bit longer.
Oh, he found some more.
Can they follow this up, though, is the question. Cyclone's available, looking for it on E-skills, and I think he gets it off here right at the last second. Indeed he will. Now 5 converging. This is a very long duration Cyclone. Not the same as a Yule's. It's quite a bit longer, but
they have Glimpse up, too. Oh, buddy. What a nice setup from them.
Man, that chase. Do they have any follow-up here to lock him down from this TP out? They do. It's an Overgrowth, and down he goes.
This is not the same VP I remember, by the way. Like, what is going on? That was just nice setup, too.
It really is. The VP we were casting, that was in the Summit Europe, we were casting them. They're just... I was like, these cannot be the same players who've gone to TI before and played on top teams. Like, they just looked awful.
This is a good day for them.
Yeah, they looked like a tier 3. I'm not even flaming them. They looked like a tier 3 team a few weeks ago. They're playing like a team that can actually threaten Rocks or Mouse, or at least a lot closer to it in this game.
Yeah, G is playing a ridiculously good Brewmaster, too. Setting up multiple kills and just threatening every time Panda opens up.
They're also just playing as a team. Like, Illidan's actually... The games where they were losing, Illidan would just run off on his own and die. And he's fighting with the team. He built the mech, and it feels like they finally decided to play together.
Both of these teams kind of lacking in the late game, but VP, they're going to have like a double Scepter, one on Razor, one on Brewmaster, and with that, I don't really think their late game is in too much trouble. Unless Doom gets some amazing Dooms off in team fights.
This Razor is pretty scary if he gets farmed enough. Like, I guess you can Doom him, and there's not a ton of follow-up, but...
He'll already have his eye to
There's so many single-target nukes. Unstable Current is going to be a big problem for Coast.
Yeah, and, I mean, if you Doom him, you still have to worry about Panda Ultimate, and that's the big factor in team fights up until, like, maybe 40, 45 minutes into the game.
I wouldn't say Razor's a bad Doom target, but he's not really the best. He's very tanky. He doesn't rely on spells to escape particularly. He just kind of stands there and tries to right-click you end of the day. And
if you already have Static Link and Eye to Storm up, it really doesn't do that much either.
Yeah, and that means if you don't Doom him, then Illidan's just going to go ham in the fights, it feels. Coast now smoked up. They want to engage. They don't have those Shadow Shaman wards even now.
This
14 minutes
such a difficult fight to take for Team Coast. Like, without
even with the wards, I don't know. Panda ult's online. If Panda gets off his ult, this fight's over, and they do not want to even walk near the pit.
Well, Team Coast looks like they're going to head top, try and get maybe an easy T1, but I'm pretty sure all of them have TPs. G actually does not have a TP, and they really need him there to defend first. So now the smoke will reveal on top lane, and they're going to be pushing up. Aegis given to Razor, and
you're definitely not dooming him now. That's for sure.
That's an easy way to lose a fight.
Yeah. Well, it does happen. We've seen teams doom Wraith Kings with their ults online and lose games that way before.
So it looks like Invoker has actually gone for a catch-up Midas as well as the mech, and I like the early game item build. Well, technically Midas is not, but still going for a mech instead of, like, let's say a 4-staff or a Yule or something like that will help his team out so much more.
Meanwhile, G just push out the bottom lane. He's almost got an Ag, so it was a 6-minute blink. It's looking like a 17-minute Aghanim Scepter. He's the leader in net worth by 2.5k gold. He's 2 levels up on the Doom, 1 level up on the Invoker, who did go for a Midas, I believe, and now the Exhort Invoker forced to go back for a mech. Man, he is...
And Enchantress
this is a poverty Invoker.
Enchantress is already peaked, too. Her time to shine is already off, so it's really, really weak for Frigo Elite, too. He's still not level 6, and supports like Disruptor and Tree and Protector with their AoE ultimates still offer a lot more in team fights.
Not to mention the Shadow Shamans and Enchantress are food. They're just super squishy. 3 or 4 right clicks from Razor.
Yeah,
Razor a little bit of damage, he'll just crush you.
He can just easily charge in and not really care about anything. Like, how's he gonna die? I mean, maybe if he gets doomed and like double edged and stunned, but even then they have tree armor.
And he's got Aegis.
Like, yeah,
you can't focus the Razor.
it's so incredibly difficult to kill the Razor. So there's one Scepter out. Razor has his and about 700 gold. And VP, it doesn't look like they have good tower siege, but with Nature's Prophet, Treants, and with Tree armor for the sustain as well as Scepter on Razor, they can easily push down T3s.
Illidan's just casually trying to backdoor the tower mid without creeps.
This is the VP I know.
This like, what are you doing? It's also just a sign of how far ahead they are. Like, you would not. I don't think you'd see Illidan doing that if it was closer. Meanwhile, mid lane, are they going to jump in? Gee, just flexing his muscles here. He'll just slaughter Frigo Elite. One clap, one slash of that. Is that even a sword? I don't know what you call that. It's like a bludgeon.
Words of the Drunken Warlord. Rare blade.
It's a blade? It's very, like, it looks like just like I don't know, a beating stick, really.
So now VP will continue to seize. They have so much time to work with, too. 3.5 minutes until the age is expired, and there's definitely enough time to take down one T2, probably pressure the T3 if they want to, and they don't really have to worry about Team Coast doing too much. They don't have the great split pushers at all.
And especially not with your one hero that can split push, Invoker going for mech, and your Shadow Shaman not having any farm. He's at least got his ult.
I like this play from Coast. They're going to try and wrap around, and Doom shows himself on bottom, so they won't expect this.
Yeah, he just TP'd mid. Unfortunately, there's a ward near the tower. It's daytime.
What are they going to go on? The Razor is the only target in sight for them, and now he's backed off into a pretty well-fortified position. G is not there, though. So if Coast takes this fight right now, they could potentially win it because G is like really far away.
It is risky though. They'll start it off on the Disruptor. They try and isolate one of these squishy supports. Overgrowth will come through. That's going to connect on quite a few. But Illidan now charging in all on his lonesome. Didn't have mana for the mech. Didn't get it off and will fall in the end. So the ultimate's been deployed and, well, pretty damn good. They've popped the Aegis. They did have to blow their wards for this, unfortunately. But
why did he use his ultimate when he was right about to die?
The Razor?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Well,
I think he thought he had mech mana, and he didn't after using the plasma field.
Pretty good fight for Team Ghost. They only lost 2 ultimates, Stampede and Shadow Shaman wards. Didn't lose any deaths, or didn't take any deaths and kill 2 heroes. Decent.
That's about as good as they're going to get, I feel, given the situation.
But they have to bypass the Razor and the Panda and go for the weak support. Disruptor is your ideal target. Nature's Prophet doesn't really do anything in team fights.
That was really good target selection. I was like, I hope they don't go on Razor here because he's got Aegis and Panda will eventually show up. And they went for the Disruptor. And they baited out the Razor ult, which was just icing on the cake. Now, though, a glimpse back in. We'll find East Coast. There's a clap here. No detection, I believe, for VP. At least none that we're seeing right now, and, well, that is one issue they should look to address, and we see NS right now will pick up a pair of Sentry Wards.
So VP has a couple options right now. They can pressure very heavily with the Scepter. They can probably take this T2. I don't think they should go high ground yet. It's a little bit too early. Maybe they need to wait for like a Necro 3 from Nature's Prophet. He actually opted for a Shadow Blade instead, so that will definitely hurt their pushing potential a little bit. And maybe like a pipe on one of their heroes to deal with Doom and Invoker. But at this point, Team Coast very, very unwilling to take team fights.
Well, unfortunately, Conrad's leaving the building. Goodbye, Conrad. Have a safe trip home, Swole era. Unfortunately, the NA Hub, we're starting to lose a few here, Ben, as we close in on the end of the qualifiers. Hopefully he'll be back for the summit. No comment. Ben's got nothing.
I see Conrad a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Conrad's always around.
He is always around. Well, he won't be anymore, though.
I saw him in San Francisco not too long ago, too.
That's true. Okay, well, either way, VP take a tier 2 bottom.
Bye, Conrad.
There you go. See, was that so hard? Just a little, some respect. No, I'm just kidding.
Concentrating on the game.
That's good. I like your focus here.
I don't know if Team Coast has a decent shot at winning this. It seems like a long shot, but VP has been known to make some very questionable mid to late game decisions.
How many throws do you think VP can afford? I think 2. I think 2 throws, and then this would be an even game.
2's the right amount. 2 like 4 zeros, like 5 1s. Those those sort of
The
fights.
main concern for Coast was they didn't go for any greed
Yeah.
at all.
I think-
Aside from the Midas and having Devour.
I think that's the right decision, though. Like, they could easily get, like, super punished for it, too. VP has a very formidable 5-man lineup.
Yeah. I guess the main issue then is because you haven't gone greedy, maybe you can't afford to, but it means that you can't just come back in a war of attrition
Steph
too easily.
style, pick up a Midas. 8 Mother, not too late for a Midas for you.
No, it's too late.
I saw Burning go like a 30-minute Midas yesterday.
Did they win?
No. I don't think so.
Did I even need to ask that question?
It was on Potom. I was just like, what? He had like 4,000 gold. He picked up Midas and Maelstrom at the same time. I don't, anyways.
4K gold? Oh.
Well, here we go. A slight push on top, but it looks like it can easily clean up those wards.
We'll find Jodam here. They started off with the stomp, and they incinerate him with the orbital ion cannon from E-Skills. Nicely played, and as you mentioned, it's not out of the realm of possibility. VP could keep on making mistakes. Top tower will fall, and while that's happening, they Centaur ult. They get 2 with this one. They'll slow down. NSG's going to blink directly in, but he does manage to get off his ult. And, well, now they'll jump forward, looking for E-Skills, trying to isolate him on the backside of the fight. 8 Mother going for the TP out. He will succeed. Solin will not be so lucky. Glimpse back a few inches, and he will fall in the end. Arsart almost dead to the double edge, but does stand strong. Frigo Lee next on the list, and suddenly Coast lose 3.
Wow. Centaur, I don't think he had a stun up after killing the tree, and that was the big mistake that they had there. He bought time for NS to just drop his ultimate on like 3 or 4 heroes, and the rest of Team Coach just followed him in because they thought he was going to stun. So, not the best of communication from Team Coast, and VP get away with really easy team fight. Just hand it to them.
And on that note, they don't have Panda ult right now, so we probably won't see them push high ground, but it feels like they'll probably just wait for one more Roche, get their next round of items, and then that'll be the window as we're 3 minutes off from that, or potentially 3 minutes off from that next Aegis, where I expect actually looks like 2, where we will see them go high ground.
Team Coast is pretty starved right now, too. They're going to have a sheep out soon on Nature's Prophet, which means no one can split push at all, too. So, I think Team Coast, they could have taken a lot more losses, too. I kind of like Ava that just bounced when he saw the team fight going sour. You never want to stay around too long versus a Panda.
So, Ben, we've had Buster Sword, Butter Knife, Beating Stick, let's see, Kick-Ass Stick, Spanking Stick, and Cricket Bat. Out of all of those names, what do you prefer for this Panda cosmetic?
Cricket Bat?
Cricket Bat? Okay. I can get behind that.
The thing is mad ugly, too.
I'm a fan. Then again,
I like the flail. The flail's okay.
Yeah. It's
The
just
thing's so big.
he doesn't swing it like a sword. He just like clubs things. Why is it called a sword?
Yeah.
Roland has some strong opinions on this matter that he wants to share with the stream. We're gonna bring him on now to. No, he's waving me off. He's vetoed that. But yeah, for now, VP, it's just the next stage. Just I feel like beyond that, maybe you wait till your Razor refresher, but.
Wait for pipe, I say.
Okay.
Oh, he's going to refresher. Okay. I thought he was going for pipe with the ROH.
Well, Tree's going to go in. They overgrowth 2 right now. In comes G. He does have ultimate mana. Didn't have to clap as well and chooses not to use it. Will Boulder toss Soul in mid-Centaur ultimate. Then the Prophet comes in. One more right click from Arsart. Will secure that kill. The TP out attempted by Shadow Shaman. Nice Cyclone. Got the vision for that with the Plasma Field, and down goes Frigo Lead.
One of the annoying parts about playing against a tree, you never know when your TP is going to get interrupted.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they don't really have the kind of situation in this game where they can go for a gem. So.
They do not. Well,
And as he's going to glimpse back in E-Skills, he 4-steps out immediately. They don't have a way to cancel this TP. The crit comes through. A double crit.
why
Gee.
didn't he drop the kinetic field?
What's that?
Why didn't he drop the kinetic field?
Did he have it off cooldown?
Yeah, I think
okay.
so. If he drops the kinetic field, he can't 4-step away, and they can just beat him up with Static Storm. I don't know. It would have been much closer. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But either way, might have been able to TP out in time. As they were light on stuns for that one. Glimpse was cooling down at that point, but
They can punch him.
Yeah.
With the or club him.
Club
whatever,
him.
Whatever you want to call it. Rugby stick him.
it's the Seal Clubber 9000.
I mean, even Treant has a 4-step at this point, and Disruptor pretty poor. Generally, you see Disruptors go for Deceptor and Treant Protectors by all the wards and the urns and whatnot. But he does. I feel like Tree does need at least one mobility item.
Yeah, Jodam is doing pretty well in terms of farm, actually, up to 6k net worth. So 4-staff, not a bad choice in that regard, and they'll go for the Roach now. Once again, Coast not really able to contest this. They don't know for sure it's up, but there's only 1 more minute it could have taken to respawn, so pretty likely it was online, and well, Sunstrike will come in, but to little avail. They won't find anyone with this smoke gank, and It's a bunch of wasted time for Coast at the end, but truth be told, it's like the only play they have. They just cannot go into the pit right now.
Both times they've been 5-manning. They haven't even been farming their Roshans too, is the sad part for them. They've been like close around there, but not quick enough, and instead of just taking the opportunity to farm up like 1,000, 1,500 gold in the side lanes, they just waste all their time moving around too. So Team Coast, if they suspect Roshan, they have to get there sooner or just commit to split pushing so that they waste a little bit more of the precious Aegis time.
Yeah, their ability to take fights in the pit is so poor right now, though, and Arsart he just leveled up. He got himself a Hex. I believe our Disruptor is working towards an Axe. No, only 1,100.
Too poor.
Too poor. But the Panda has a BKB now as well, and that makes things a bit scary for Coast. Yeah, they can still doom him, but it's tough. I feel like Razor and Panda both very high priority targets to doom at this point.
Diet of Storm Siege begins.
And he doesn't have Refresher yet, so it won't be the full double ultimate, but it's enough anyway to do a lot of work to these buildings. Cleaning up the wave, and now working on the remaining Forge Spirits. Illidan in the front lines, the team behind him for now.
I don't know why he's scared. I think he should just go high ground, or at least prevent the misses.
Well, maybe he watched those Rockskiss games earlier. Just wants to play it safe.
He's their ideal Doom target. You want them to do Illidan.
Stomp comes in, the Centaur goes in, but he actually gets hexed immediately. He could not get off the Stomp, and now his team's left to fight without any kind of follow-up. 8 Mother isolated. There's a Doom on G, but he's just right-clicking. He doesn't care. He just brings them all down, it looks like, with the crits coming out. Still the Razor standing strong for now. Has the Aegis. He's running through this. He's stolen 224 damage and makes it out with 40 HP in the end. Well, they didn't even use the Brewmaster ult. They did lose the tree and the Disruptor. And the high ground is defended, so, frankly, not too shabby for Coast once again.
Yeah, they've blown out their ultimates, though, and Razor ultimate is almost back up, although he doesn't actually have any HP. They need to bring him up with Tree and maybe
I think you just wait for the Refresher at this point.
Oh!
Sunstrike gonna come in!
Wow, that was close.
They have an Observer Ward nearby. Almost got the Met kill. That would have been big to pop the Aegis there.
Yeah, that would have been really important. He's getting some bottle sips right now. Looks like they actually want to sustain. They need to throw out tree armor, though. They need Razor at full HP to begin the siege.
And Refresher is coming soon. So I think you just wait what was it, like 300 gold he had to go for that? And yeah, even less at this point, just 125 or so. And
yeah, but if they go right now, they can actually wait out the Doom and the Shadow Shaman wards are on
That's
cooldown,
true.
Whereas Panda Ultimate is still up, so
maybe they don't wait.
You can see it.
They can at least poke now, and if they don't like the way it's going, they can just back off and send it in.
Yeah, the T3 already fell. The Glyph is still on cooldown for a long time, so I think they can get this Roshan. If G just blinks in ultimates, they should win the fight easily because there's almost no chance of Doom getting this Doom off that fast without any...
And Doom's on cooldown, so he can blink in, BKB, clap, right-click a few times, then ult if he needs to. Although Doom has just come back up, it looks like. And the siege commences in earnest. They'll just pop the panel and look to muscle
I
down
think that's
this
a smart
Rax.
idea. It's just, they have to secure this Rax. There's no reason that they can't this fight.
Centaur ult will be thrown out, and Illidan, well, he's been protected for now by that Static Storm and Kinetic Field, keeping Coast off of him while he brings down the melee Rax. The Shadow Shaman wards have come off cooldown. They'll be dropped, but they're just tickling right now. Centaur thrown up in the air by a Cyclone. He will come back down. G gets doomed. Dooming the Panda after his ult's been used. Well, they'll just walk away, and they've already lost the Rax. VP slightly overextending here, it feels. Haven't lost anyone just yet, though. They've gotten two, and, well, the Invoker will buy back instantly. Illidan now going to make his way out. They've got a defensive glimpse if needed, I believe, and looks like Coast will, in the end, not really be able to do much here to stop this push. In fact, Illidan is going back in. He does get critted once, but 8 Mother just simply doesn't hit that hard. The level death does, though. Illidan dropping low. He's got the Refresher. He has the Aegis, and Virtus Pro just looking to win this game right now, it feels. Though I don't know if they need to. They'll glimpse one back again. It's going to be the Doom. He gets destroyed by G, and now Illidan actually getting the last hit on that. They'll find another here. Jotum will bring down a second. That's after an Invoker buyback. The lane of Rex is already down, and Coast, sensing it's inevitable they'll lose this game one, will GG out. VP, 1 win away from moving on to play Rockskiss.
If VP plays again like that, they might have a decent shot versus the second place team, or versus Rockskiss.
I honestly feel like they were playing on the similar level to Rockskiss today, if not more disciplined. Not something that discipline is generally very talented. VP is yes, but discipline not a word I would generally use to describe them. And this was one of the most disciplined games I have ever seen out of them.
I think it is
the most.
It is the most.
They chose a good time to show up.
Yeah, I mean the Panda just absolutely destroyed them too. They created so much space for him. They just fed him a first blood, due to the great support play. And I think that Treant Protector was just, he really was just so important to. I don't know what's going on, but he was just so important for them. He secured a couple of kills on Invoker. They like straight tower dove and went unpunished. And then when Team Coast tried to get back in the game by ganking, they had tree armor and they couldn't get any kills.
I really liked how they put pressure on Invoker right away. Not only to secure the Panda's Blink, but it's Exhort Invoker at level 1. He's squishy. I think the other thing which you mentioned briefly that was very important was the really good creep block by the Panda early on. That makes it so Invoker either is missing last hits or he's got to walk way down in the river.
Well, he was like down in the river, so if he's like up on the ramp, he can pop the smoke. But since he's like down in the river, even if he pops the smoke, he won't see it in time.
Yeah, and you could still send experience range, but then you're missing on the last hit. So, guys, with that being said, that is going to wrap up game number 1 of this best of 3 Virtus Pro. 1 win away now for moving on to play Rock's Kiss tomorrow. Mouse Sports are waiting in the grand finals. They've already secured their trip to Seattle, though. Whether they go as the wildcard team or as the actual qualifier from Europe remains to be seen. I'm LD, he's Merlini. We had Basekip, of course, handling the observing for that game. Good job, Basekip. I give you a 2 thumbs up. 9.75 out of 10 for that one.
He's like 3 of gods.
Yeah, that's... You've been watching the International 4 European Qualifiers presented by Monster. We'll be right back for Game 2. Stay tuned.